see if MV takes it in sort of that direction where they want to dominate the lanes, or looks to take this a bit later. Of course, a balance of the two would be ideal. But a lot of pick-off potential from these three heroes from Faze. A lot. And a lot of range of initiation as well. So, Omni Knight, Luna, Lifestealer. 3 cores likely to be showing here for FP. It's possible that the Omni Knight is a support. It's possible that the Prophet is a core as well. So, I don't really think Snake King is a Nature's Prophet player, though. And that's really gut feeling.
10 seconds remaining.
I could be totally wrong about that, but I don't really see him as a Nature's Prophet player.
Remaining.
I do, in some scenarios, see Envy as a Prophet player, though. So perhaps we see Snake King, much like he took the Sven in last game, take the Luna, and the Lifestealer go mid. Who knows? I think it's still very flexible for FP. Here's a hero we don't see all that often, but can definitely be very effective in some certain scenarios. Laguna Blade does pierce the rage, but I don't think really that's what this pickup is for. But this Lina provides so much burst damage that lasso target, whether there's status resistance or not, whether there's GA, Guardian Angel or not, Lina should be able to ensure that lasso target is very low, if not dead, within the duration of that disable. So I really like the Lina pick. It's obviously one of CCNC's best heroes and has been for a long time. That was one of the knocks on him coming up prior to being picked up by Optic, was that he had a limited hero pool, but this was the hero that everyone sort of spoke of as his signature hero, kind of similar to Mason's Weaver.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Kunkka Band coming out from Faze. Rioya, despite having a brutal lane in the last game, really did do some work. I mean, he ended up, what did we say, 26 of 30 kills involved there. So, I mean, we're talking 91+%.
10 seconds remaining.
Or 88+%, I should say.
5 seconds remaining.
That's a lot of kill involvement for Rioya. So, certainly showed his potential to bounce back from a poor lane. And the Bounty Hunter coming out from Faze here, likely for Boris. Very interesting pickup.
10 seconds remaining.
This is a core BH. Oh, baby. Somebody tweet this draft out. It has to be, right? I mean, it's definitely not a core Earth Spirit. It could be a core Grimstroke, but Wow, core BH. We talked about being able to kite the Lifestealer or the Laugh Stealer in the last 2 games. Track is a tool that can help with that. He's also a good hero along with the Bat Rider. He provides scouting for the Bat Rider. He can kind of serve as a Beastmaster Hawk for the Bat. Of course, the Bat gets a little bit of vision from the Firefly, but the Bounty Hunter even better to set that up and to bolster the reward from all of those kills. And the Queen of Pain to come out for Rioya. This is a very I'm gonna miss First Blood if it happens in the side lanes, guys, because this is Rioya Quap versus CCNC Lina. If Grant were casting this he'd be hype right now, because this is a pretty fucking hype matchup. 2 very much signature heroes on them. There are some signature heroes elsewhere. It is Snake King Omni Knight, by the way. I did mention that I didn't really see him as a Nature's Prophet player. I definitely see him more as an Omni Knight player. And it will be Envy once again on the Lifestealer. And Francis Lee is picking up the Luna in this one. So, I don't know how that plays out. That's interesting as well. It is going to be a 1-position Mason Bounty Hunter in this game. What a draft we have from both sides. I don't know if this is just NA Dota LOL or NA Dota POG, but This is real cool, and I'm definitely going to be taking a look at sort of the throwback matchup in the mid lane, which is Ryoya's Quap, 747's Quap, Susie's Quap, whatever you want to call it, versus cool, calm, and collected Lina. Quinn and Quinn versus Eric Dong. Should be a good matchup. I guess this kind of like, what's the Omni Knight matchup versus Batrider is the question in my head at the moment, and I wish you guys could answer it for me. But potential for an aggressive tri-lane is certainly there. That's one of the ways to nullify the effects of the Earth Spirit early on, is to force him into a predictable location where he can't really use Rolling Boulder from Fog as well. And, Lifestealer or Omni Knight +2 are formidable tri-lanes. And Envy is making his way towards top. So I do think that that'll be the case. Lelis, remains to be seen where he ends up going. But for now, snaking is solo bottom.
Burns, doesn't it?
Which I like. I think he should do fine in the maybe better in the Batrider matchup than ever.
That wasn't too bright.
My thanks.
Having the status resistance.
Ooh, thanks.
A little bonus strength HP regen. Pretty cool. The Frog always devising different ways to make the game balanced. Balance in all things. Did look like Mason pinged out someone in the trees there, so don't think the dire side will be fooled by this move. But it is Liposa to make his way towards top on the Prophet, so I believe it will be that aggressive tri-lane, and I like the decision personally. But, contrarily, to be contrarian here, Monkeys Forever loves Batrider, and so in a 1v1 matchup, he may just take the game over. 2-man Stroke of Fate by Jubei. Eternal Envy and Flea hanging around. Gonna look at Mason here on the Bounty Hunter. He did skill up the Janata, level 1. Sentry going to be dropped down by Snaking here. Just looking for some potential warding. Let's probably see some Sentry wars. Alright. You know what it is, guys. And Ryoya versus CC and C. In the mid lane. I'll watch this for a moment.
Denied.
I apologize, guys. I forgot to update the titles. Wave in pretty favorable position here for the Radiant side for Envy. They will find the roll in onto Liposa. This should be the first blood. Top lane. Fairy Fire going to be popped by the Nature's Prophet. Lucent Beam is not there as the skilled up the Lunar Blessing early on. And Boris. Again, we talked about rolling Boulder from Fog. That's the way the Earth Spear will get things underway in the early game, and he was able to utilize it there despite it being the aggressive tri-lane. 5 and 2 to the 4 and 1 thus far in this mid lane. And Snaking doing very well in his 1v1 here. So you can see how little the sticky napalms are lasting. And he'll be able to walk that one off.
Seems a lifetime ago I last gave thanks.
little bit of break in the action here early, but the mid lane going slightly CCNC favored in this one thus far. Meanwhile, top lane roll in onto Liposa once again. There is a stroke of fate on the back end, and the Ink Swell helps keeping the Nature's Prophet in place, and that'll be the second kill for this Faze safe lane. However, their safe lane farmer only 8 CS to this point, 12 on Envy and 5 denies. So not a disaster just yet for the Radiant side. Meanwhile, Ryoya blinking up to the high ground, going to be just fine for now.
Oh, too bad.
And all together up top, we have 3 denies on the Prophet, 1 on the Luna, and 5 on the Lifestealer. Now Mason gets aggressed on, but they don't have a sentry down to kill him off with. So roll forward, will connect onto Flea. They'll get the slows from the Boulder Smash and the Stroke of Fate. And Janata will finish him off. Envy is forced to stick up and move over to the east away from the Inkswell. And now Boris could be in a little trouble, but there's no open wounds for another second. Envy is actually getting right-clicked into pretty hard here. Flea even blocking him up there momentarily, but Envy will be okay. He's going to get salved up by one of the supports. And back towards the mid lane we go. CCNC taking over at this point. 19-8 to the 10-4, and so far in both games he's outmanned Ryoya in the mid lane. Arcane Rune for the Quap. We'll see if this could be a little bit of a turning point in the lane. He will cop a Dragon Slave to the dome. Monkey's doing off-laner things, Bat Rider things. Top lane, Envy aggressing onto Mason. Still no sentries in this lane. It's kind of odd to see that with Nature's Prophet, someone that can so readily TP back to home. But just the 1 sentry over in the jungle. And pull being executed now by Jubei, so not the most seamless of aggressive tri-lanes. Snaking. Able to snag a bounty rune. Does have the Heavenly Grace if he needs it. We'll end up popping it off. Takes a denial on his way home. We'll miss the purification. CCNC perhaps bodied out of lane a little bit with that Arcane Rune, but he is level 6. Ryoya slightly behind. 13 denies on the Lina thus far.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Open wounds out onto Mason. There is a dust this time, and they'll press forward onto the Bounty Hunter. And the first time they bring detection, it looks like they should get a kill. Boulder Smash is there, though. Envy still gets the last right click. And, yeah, detection helps versus the one-position Bounty Hunter. Flea still standing strong alongside Eternal Envy. Gets off a second Loosened Beam. Envy chasing here. Did have the Phase boots, but didn't want to press too deep under the tower. Stroke of Fate will connect onto the Lifestealer, and that'll be all for that minor skirmish. Meanwhile, top lane, Mason's come back. Rolling Boulder is going to be, well, effectively dodged by Envy as he pops the Rage. Loosened Beam comes out. Envy going to get caught with a Boulder Smash. CCNC rotates in, finds a kill on the Luna. Lina on Luna Crime. CCNC is pretty quick with the Fiery Soul, so doesn't spend too much time out of lane and gets a kill, but certainly not the big bounty that they had wanted. Monkeys pops a regen up on the high ground. Snake King could be in a bit of trouble here if he gets a lasso off, but Snake King's pretty quick. He's got the phase boots, so Monkey's still gonna go for this. However, 5 stacks to the napalm. Gets on top of the Omni Knight, has the lasso, and will finish Snake King off. And that is certainly a risky run when you give this hero up to Monkeys forever. He is a very adept. Well, Lelis, Liposa caught TPing to mid. He was TPing right here and taken out in the meantime. Now Flea in a bit of trouble. Ooh, CCNC guesses incorrectly, however, on the juke. Envy will rage TP away, and second rotation from CCNC does net another kill for his squad, again on one of the supports.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And they did see that TP in, but I'm not sure if they saw the ward placement. Sentry is there, yep. And CCNC does not take the ward out just yet. Rolling boulder misses, but they will get the Ink Swell to proc onto Liposa, and the Nature's Prophet, as he's done a few times this game, will take a spill. Meanwhile, Snake King up top looking for Mason. They can't get him within the range of the Sentry. Envy was not nearby, and he's actually made his way down bottom. Liposa as well, TP's in bottom, and smokes up on the Prophet. It is 30 seconds till the 10-minute mark. Take a look at the net worth, and not surprised to see a Monkey's Batrider in a 1v1 up at the top. Followed fairly closely by the Snake King Omni Knight, however, who's got that Holy Crown and is making a press towards Jubei. Forces out the TP from the Grimstroke. And begins to cut the wave top. Still very healthy, though, is that tier 1. Meanwhile, a little skirmish for the Bounty Rune. Boulder Smash is going to connect onto Flea. Shuriken will be there, but the Purification comes from Snake King. TP inbound. Dust is there as well from Liposa, and they should get the kill on the BH. Ryoya rotates in, gets the kill on the Earth Spirit as well. And very beneficial little set of circumstances for Flying Penguin side. CCNC, though, made his way down bottom, and along with Monkeys Forever, puts in a considerable amount of work into that tier 1. Envy going to take over the siege creep too. This is a pretty cheeky play from him. He's going to ensure that they don't take out his tower. And LSA and the Janata. Envy is going to rage up, and he may just go down here. 10 sticks, charges, but dodges the LSA, but still in a lot of trouble. And with the Shuriken and the Dragon Slave, he will be taken out. Tier 1 top taken out by Snake King and crew, but they do end up losing Envy for it. And their tower will also end up being eliminated. Midas being pursued by the Snake King Omni Knight. Jubei in trouble, and the burst is enough to kill him off. Mid lane tier 1 in considerable trouble at this point as well. With this triumvirate of heroes pressuring it. CCNC, jumps in, but is going to be able to, with that Fiery Soul stack, make it off to the north. And now from the south side, they are being approached by Monkeys. Monkeys has drums, but an Invis rune from Ryoya keeps him safe. Snake King. Heavenly Grace going to be popped, and that will deter any further aggression. Now, Liposa takes the haste rune. Nicely played. And that will kind of tip them off to the fact that there is Radiant Vision nearby, but still nice for him to grab away from CCNC. Blink Dagger picked up by Monkeys here, 12-minute mark. Mason hanging around. Radiant have scanned Mason here. And Lelis dusts him up as Snake King approaches. And Mason, not sneaky enough on this one, is going to be taking out Liposa, the one to pick up the last hit. Liposa looking quite scrumptious in this game. He's died 4 times thus far. That's the most on the board. And therefore just hung around as bait. Rioya gets the blink out mid lane as Monkeys tried to lasso him, but perhaps that ward serving as good information for the mid laner. Now CCNC sprouted up here. Snake King gets the purification off. CCNC very low. Can they continue to press for more? Heavenly Grace is going to be there. One right click. Nice denial coming out, but Boris is in trouble. Phantom's Embrace comes out onto the Omni Knight. They don't want to dive too deep under the tower. Rioya takes a lot of damage. Purification will be there, but only momentarily saves one. And the Stroke of Fate through 2. The Flame Break is there. Rioya is going to end up ticking down, and so does Snake King. 3 kills in the mid lane for Faze. Flea is tracked up and in trouble. Has a TP available and should be able to make it to safety. But a big win for the Dire squad in mid as they get a 3-for-1. And this was a denial as well, so no experience going over to the Radiant side. And no gold. Net 1,600 gold, 2,000 experience going the Faze side of things. But it does push back CCNC from picking up his Yule Scepter.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
CCNC shows himself bottom. Could be in a little bit of trouble, but does end up retreating promptly after Dragon Slaving the wave. Rioya infested now by the Lifestealer. Monkeys up into the Firefly looking for a target. Blink forward from Jubei. Silenced, but now Envy comes out and gets the rage off. Rioya, though, taken out in the duration of the lasso. Jubei will be the return kill. Eclipse doesn't do much of anything from Flea. Shuriken bouncing through. Purification keeping Liposa in fighting shape. Dust is going to find Mason, but they can't turn on him, and they'll lose a second hero. That's going to be the Luna. Liposa very low as well. Envy hanging around, though. And we'll TP up the top. Monkeys looking for more. Snaking up the stairs and down the stairs. Envy always thinking about those bounty runes. We'll be able to pick up 1, but 3 were secured by the Faze lineup. CCNC taking 2. Snaking, no pun intended, really the shining light in the early game for FP. They're going to need more out of him to stay relevant in this one. Rioya looking at a Yule Scepter. It's going to be quite a while behind the Yule Scepter of CCNC, which comes out now. Snaking takes the haste rune away from the Batrider. Mason flying out of Midas. Jump forward mid lane. Drums are going to be popped here. Rioya sniffs it out though, but still ends up lassoed. CCNC gets the kill. Well, Yule Scepter is going to be there. Heavenly Grace as well. But they get the link off from the Grimstroke. Snaking in trouble. They roll forward. He will get the GA off and survive for the time being. Has a lot of wand charges. Keeps him alive. Silenced up by the Geomagnetic Grip and taken down. And 2 huge value targets acquired in the mid lane for Faze. And this game's starting to get out of hand for Flying Penguins. Liposa goes for the TP out, wisely so, knowing that they'd used lasso in mid. Envy in a little bit of trouble. Does have Rage TP here. So unlikely that he's bursted. Oh, well, CCNC is nearby. I say that. He's going to get slowed up. but now has the rage and will look for the TP, but they can kill him with just with right clicks and Janata, level 4. Envy gonna end up going down, and this looks like a slow and painful loss starting to build for Flying Penguin side. Of course, there is a position 1 bounty hunter on the Dire side, so never say it's over until that fat lady sings. They do have the Arcane Boots Luna can come back into relevance. Meanwhile, mid lane, Ryoya. Ooh, CCNC misses the combo. And that'll be a costly one. Sad trombone indeed from Monkeys Forever. GG and G. But in any case, still sitting pretty at this point.
Invisibility.
Put a Defiance up onto Snaking.
Has been denied.
Envy asks for the creep for his Midas.
Radiant's bottom
Ryoya
tower
nowhere
is
close
under
to an
attack.
item, but is going to try and make something happen here. Mason, Vlad's drums, and Midas. Meanwhile, mid lane, they do find Monkeys with the Blink Infest. Monkeys pings as if there's a ward mid. It's actually on the other side, but close
Radiant's
enough.
bottom tower is under attack.
They could make an attempt at Roche with the Nature's Prophet Treants, but won't do so. It's not as if they have a Medallion or a Desolator. They really don't have all that much, period, on the Radiant side of things. Midas on Envy, Hooded Defiance on Snaking, and a point booster on the Luna, who is going to get that Aghanims, which is kind of cool with the Queen of Pain. Can throw the Eclipse on her and the Life Stealer jump in, but Tier 3 is already being threatened heavily.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Phantom's Embrace flies out onto Snaking, roll away, and Envy gonna jump forward. Jubei, they don't have anything to cancel this though. Lelis with the dust, they will find a big target in Mason, and he gets the Midas off before dying. Wrath of Nature finishes him off. 500 gold for Leposa. D-word is attempt is unsuccessful. Unattempt, yes. Monkey's gonna bait out the Shadow Strike before he blinks away, but there is a Sprout. He will be forced to use the Firefly and does have the drums. And Envy just gonna make his way towards the creeps. Monkeys, as Firefly expiring soon, does have a blink as well, but Envy pursuing. And Monkey's gonna use that blink. Well, Ryoya has a haste, blinks forward, finds him. There's no reaction from the Dire side, and Monkeys will take a second spill in this one, it looks like. Envy needs a right click, needs 2, and gets the second. Now they'll jump forward onto Mason. CCNC looking to combo up Ryoya, and they will turn on to the Lina. Envy getting a little bit low, but he has the rage, and they take out the Lina. Double kill for Envy's Life Stealer. Boris is hanging around, but undetected so far by the Radiant. Flea finds him, and they'll get a tier 1 for their troubles as well. Just 2 kills and 3,000 experience and 1,500 gold going to the Radiant side in that little skirmish. And Monkeys costing his team dearly there. CCNC joining the fray a little bit late is punished as well. Radiant scanning for the Bounty Hunter, trying to disrupt their TPs. Mason, of course, though, is farming away up top and looking for that BKB. Just wants to stay up in the team fight and pick everyone's pockets. Leposa. Oh, as the sentry expires, going to get a ward down, but it looks like they saw it. Mason looking for the Prophet, unable to find him. But the sentries dropped down, and, well, that was a good mission.
Come and meet the armor of omniscience.
Arcane Rune picked up by Snaking. Smoked up Monkeys Forever. Jubei on the low ground as well. Envy going to jump forward. Open wounds him up. Shadow Strike is there. It's a free kill. They won't continue pursuit on Envy.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Full pipe completed here by Snaking. Which will be nice against CC&C. Pretty much the entire lineup of Faze. Envy does have the armlet working on their Radiance now. Suppose he stops off for the armlet in this one because of the not so ideal early start. But generally we don't see the armlet build as often. As long as he's not going S and Y after the armlet, it's all good. 2,700 gold on the way to his relic. Lelis, unbelievably poor for a Nature's Prophet, but pulling up the rear as far as farm priority goes. And you see he is the one with the wards in the dust. See the lines drawn by the Radiant. They're looking for someone farming the Sacred Triangle. They won't find it, though.
Radiant's top tower is
But
under
if they
attack.
sit on the high ground, they may find a hero in just a moment. Monkeys Forever is making his way north. But it looks like they'll evacuate. Lelis, though, may not be so lucky. He will attempt a TP, and he's going to make it successfully, actually.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They do, however, get this ward down. Although seeing the Nature's Prophet there will probably tip off Faze, similar to how it did up on the north side. CC&C looking for the TP out. They have no way to cancel this, and he will be able to retreat. Yules was completed by Rioya, so he gets effectively a little bit more tanky, and they do have that pseudo counter to the lasso. Batrider jumps in, lassos one of your teammates, you just Yules them up. Yules the Batrider, excuse me. Imagine how broken Yules would be if you could Yules your allies. Jump forward, Heavenly Grace, right onto 2. Jubei in trouble. Gets the Phantom's Embrace off onto Rioya, and they get the Link as well. But it's not going to do all that much. Lasso going to bring up the Nature's Prophet to the high ground. He will be burning slowly, but he gets the dust off, and now Mason in trouble. Eclipse is going to be there to keep the Nature's Prophet alive for now. Heavenly Grace on him as well. And they are able to take out Mason on the north side. Monkey's able to blink down to the south. Over on the west, CC&C still alive. Rioya chasing, though, has a haste rune, but does not find Monkeys, it being nighttime. It's a little bit hard to see. I know about that all too well, because I am blind as a bat. But signs of life definitely here for Flying Penguins, able to sort of stymie the early aggression from Faze and Monkeys after 2 really nice pickoffs with the blink. They've been prepared for him since then. Lelis looking to TP out, but gets Yules up by the Batrider and will be taken out. So a nice little consolation prize for Faze off the back of a pretty poor engagement from them. As far as results go, anyways. Not saying anyone played poorly. Aghanim Scepter is almost up here for the Luna, and she's sneakily hit level 14 here. Highest of the supports in the game. So definitely this hero can farm neuts. And they do have a Lifestealer who can farm neutrals in a more... Or farm lane creeps, excuse me. Farm in a more aggressive position to allow the Luna to do so. So that Aghanims could be huge. It could be a big power spike for Flying Penguins if they stay alive for the next little bit. They'll have both the Radiants as well. Oh, jump forward. In onto CC&C. BKB is popped by Mason. Yule Scepter up into the air by the Queen of Pain for Rioya. GA is there as well, but the Laguna Blade brings him very low. Rioya still surviving through all of this. Phantom's Embrace, Stroke of Fate, and he will finally be taken out. Now Envy in trouble. He's going to end up dropping. Snake King goes down, and the entire Tricore and the long-range boulder connects onto the Luna. Lena throws her up into the air, and 4 kills with a double kill for CC&C for Faze. Nature's Prophet top lane, TPing out, silenced. We'll do a little trading with Boris.
Dire's
And now makes the TP out. Well, no, there's another stun there. TP out this time. Okay, that should have been when you went for the TP, I think. Oh, the grip was there. So, kick to his death is the Nature's Prophet. Into the Roche Pit go Mason and Monkey. CCNC has can't come back to deal with the wave. And we'll see how well Mason and Monkeys can do against this Roche. And since CCNC decided to go defend top, it looks like they will subside. If that really makes any sense in the context.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Aghanims is up for the Luna, but Radiant's definitely not for Envy after taking a spill there. He's close, however, and yeah, he actually ends up getting it. Maybe sold a small item there, maybe a stick or something. Not entirely sure, but in any case, does have the Radiance. They do have that Aghanims as well, so they can pop that onto Riora, jump him in. He's got both the Eul Scepter and the Ghost Scepter now. So can sort of avoid that Janata. Roche being worked on. They got to clean up the wave and fast, and they don't. It doesn't feel like they'll be able to make it to this Roche Pit. They are making a move though. Smoked up, Rioya. Monkey's on the high ground. Jump forward. Rioya jumps in. There's no Eclipse just yet, and now it starts to do work as Boris is forced away. CCNC in trouble. Has the Aegis of the Immortal. Is going to Yules himself up into the air. Scream misses because he was Yules, but Snake King able to take out CCNC the first time. Jubei in trouble. Eclipse will take him out. Envy sitting right on top of CCNC is going to rage before the silence from Boris, and CCNC taken down for the second time. Kick from Boris was a valiant attempt to save his Lina, but it's unsuccessful. Jump forward from Snake King. Dust is going to find Mason. Lelis is nearby, has Sprout in one, but the track move speed and the phase keeping Mason alive. Monkey's jumping towards the wave. Mid lane, Jubei and Rioya doing some trading. Inkswell will be dodged by Rioya, and a jump forward Scream will finish him off. Meanwhile, Envy working on the tier 3 alongside Snake King. Nature's Prophet TP's back out, gets the bounty runes because Envy told him to, because that's how Envy plays Dota. Mason, though, was already working on the bounty runes bot lane and will take out the Prophet. Unfortunate loss for Flying Penguins. But they end up getting 3 bounty runes. Pipe certainly doing some work in that last engagement. The Eclipse did some as well, but really just kind of forced the Earth Spirit out of the engagement early, forced CCNC into the pit, and just kind of a bit of a miscommunication. We saw sort of heroes go in 3 different directions. I don't know how many times I'm going to draw that for the Faze lineup. And again, the Radiant still fighting in this one. Have the Eclipse up in 30 seconds. Rioya's got 1 element on the way to his Scythe of Vice. BKB and Sacred Relic up onto Mason. He does have a Radiance of his own now. Still sort of tanky on this Bounty Hunter with the BKB. The physical damage isn't all that scary. I mean, Envy's gone for a Radiance. Luna is a support with an Aghanims. And the Prophet has absolutely nothing. Necro Book 1 recently completed. Smokes from both sides. But bottom lane, Envy's going to be found out into the LSA and taken out immediately. And now roll forward. He's going to find all 3 heroes smoked here. Envy's going to actually buy back for this one. Boris is going to force away. Envy does not get connected on with the LSA. Jumps forward, but the Soulbind keeping Envy tethered to Rioya. They will find Boris. Can they find more? Jubei TP's out. Rioya jumps forward and finds Boris, and definitely not a worthy buyback from Envy for a single Earth Spirit kill. But it's possible that they end up getting more here. Monkeys hanging around. Dodges the Scream of Pain, but it'll follow him. Rioya looking to find him and won't be able to do so. Bat is gone. So Envy's buyback was a brazen one and a bold attempt to take a big advantage in that team fight, but it does not bear fruit. Rioya up to the high ground. Ghost Scepter immediately jumps out. Envy right onto Jubei, gets the kill. Laguna Blade down onto Rioya. He will be able to get Heavenly Grace and Yules up into the air. CCNC down to the low ground, TPing out. Lelis dueling it up with Mason. And Mason able to make it away. The Eclipse was not used, however. Jump forward. Oh, and beautiful Heavenly Grace. And the Rage comes out. Monkeys is in trouble. Dust is there onto Mason. He can't really stand and fight because his BKB is down. Monkey's taken out. Envy taking a lot of damage, but Heavenly Grace is there. And the Eclipse coming through, busting away the Earth Spirit. And Mason taken out. And somehow, Flying Penguins continue to make headway in this game. They have been down for a long time, but they've chunked into this lead, and you can just see the constant sort of roller coaster in this one. 5,800 experience going the way of Flying Penguins, and net over 3,000 gold, and they'll get this tower as well. Make that about 3,700 net gold going their way. A huge team fight win for the side of Flying Penguins. And experience lead almost completely nullified. Envy working on an Assault Cuirass is still a good way away from that. But the Hex for Rioya is going to come out very soon. And this combination of Heavenly Grace and Eclipse onto Rioya jump forward is going to get a little bit more potent once that Scythe of Vice comes out. Lelis has a level 2 Necro Book, so his split push is starting to become respectable, I'd say. CCNC though, Envy gonna be graced up, if you will, but thinks better of it. Monkey's looking for an opening. Nighttime. And you can really see what both these teams are looking at. Not much, and certainly running up high ground at this juncture in the game after taking a big team fight would be ill-advised for Eternal Envy to do, even with Heavenly Grace. Midas up on the Earth Spirit. He's level 18 in this one. Right alongside the Luna and the Omni Knight. So the Midas certainly paying dividends. 2,200 HP on the Earth Spirit, no strength items. Seems balanced. Thank you, Sir Frog, for that one. CCNC's gone for a Daedalus here, so feeling that they need the extra right click with the Heavenly Grace being what it is. And is going to be picking up an MKB as well. Scythe device completed on Rioya. They've got Envy inside the Queen of Pain. Snaking hanging around as well. Monkeys is going to show briefly on mid, but they've got issues bottom. Where the Earth Spirit has pushed in. CCNC is nearby. This is a big kill if they can find CCNC. Jump forward. They find the Hex onto the Lina and will take her out. Boris going to be body blocked up. Nicely done by Snaking. 2 kills going the way of Flying Penguins. And things starting to get shaky for Faze. We talked about having a late game bounty hunter. And it's not as if Mason hasn't contributed, but it just not the scariest one position at this juncture. In fact, Mason, pretty good KDA, 8, 6, and 9 overall. It just doesn't contribute the same way that your traditional one does. And just playstyle is a bit different in a full 5-on-5. He's really not that scary of a hero. Down to 6 seconds already on the BKB, and Envy going for the tier 3 bottom will force out the glyph. 30 seconds on the sidelines. No buyback for CCNC. Take a look at the buybacks overall. Only Mason and Boris. Okay, the Grimstroke does have his now as well, but no buyback on Monkeys. No buyback on CCNC. If CCNC does come up and get a kill, though, he should have enough. For now, Flying Penguins will be content with a couple of kills they got bottom and the amount to which they've pushed out their wave. They know Roche is up soon, knowing Envy. He's up, in fact, now. And the reveal of the Hex bears fruit in a big way for Flying Penguins. Faze, concerned with the possible Roche attempt, will take a peek into the pit. Find no one home for the time being. Envy will look to clean up the mid wave. And he does have the Assault Cuirass ready. Treants are doing some scouting as well. They see monkeys. They know that the retreat is happening. Envy into the Infest. Heavenly Grace nearby. They'll pop it. It's on top of the wave, though. Ryoya unable to find a target suitable enough. Lelis, though. Bottom lane, jump forward. Hex is going to find one. It is going to be the Bat Rider. And it keeps Lelis alive for now. Now Envy trying to beat into the last... Oh, the double lasso, though, from Monkeys is going to bring up Ryoya and Envy. Envy gets Heavenly Grace, though, trying to go in onto Mason. And the Eclipse comes through as well, but it's being split amongst the creeps. They need a little bit more RNG on their side, and they'll take out Mason. No buyback. Buyback comes out from Monkeys. No lasso available, however. The double lasso was so nice with the soul bind, but they are unable to make it work. And the buyback coming out from Ryoya. Now they know this opening is here. CCNC does not have buyback, and they have a Luna doing work here. Refresher Eclipse from Flea. Envy beating in alongside Snaking. Now mid lane, Ryoya maybe looking for a pick. Finds Boris. Hex is up. Does he have enough firepower to kill off the Earth Spirit? Oh, remember that 2600 HP we were talking about? Yeah, he does not. Anyways, Raxes are going down through backdoor protection. It's mega creeps. It's all 3 waves. Je m'excuse. That's just an intermediary building there standing. And with 2 heroes on the sidelines, they're 1 and 2 position. The top shrine being threatened. Faze. Watch their lead. Faze to black. I know it's fade to black, but I tried. I tried my best. It phased out of existence, their lead. But I already used that in the draft screen, so I wanted to be variable in my puns. And, well, it didn't work out, alright? Lotus Orb up on Snake King. He's got the gem for his squad as well and a blink, so he can not only preemptively Heavenly Grace but follow up Ryoya and Envy. And an infest into the Ancient Black Drake. Nice play by Envy here. You don't want to be using your skills on it, but you know he'll do some scouting for his squad. Dodges the LSA. Mason starting to right click into it. Mason need to be careful not to get hexed up there. And will turn back for his side of the map. And now with the gem, we will see this Radiant lineup start to choke Faze into their side of the base. Already, naturally, all 3 waves pushing in for the side of Flying Penguins. And this is the first game of the day, guys. We've seen go past the 40-minute mark. Roche has cheese available. No refresher start. It's the level 2 Roche on this one. Monkey's hanging around. Flea will find him with the Lucent Beam, and the Hex is there, and Monkey's taking out 100 seconds on the sideline for Monkeys, and this is going to be Aegis and cheese for Flying Penguins. Ryoya picks up an Arcane Rune as well, and again, Bounty Runes always at a high priority for this Flying Penguin squad. Aegis on the deck. Envy picks it up. He's got to use his Midas, of course, as well. And will do so. Lelis thinking about TPing in on top of Mason, but the Lifestealer nowhere nearby. E-Blade being built into by Ryoya, but no reason to really forego. Well, okay, let's forego buyback. F it. He's got a cheese. They'll take out the last shrine. They've got megas. There's no way they're being pushed in on, even if they die here. And so E-Blade, especially up against the right-click Lina, could be real nice. Jump forward. Hex is going to find one. It is going to be the Earth Spirit. And they'll bring him very low. Soulblind with the double Laguna Blade brings them low, but they've got Cheese and Aegis. Envy is going to end up dropping here. He'll be back momentarily, though. Nice Lotus Orb from Snake King, keeping Ryoya alive. The Earth Spirit getting low. They do end up taking out the Nature's Prophet, but what does it really matter as the Eclipse takes Mason out? Mason is going to buy back, however. Envy into the base, and the Eclipse again doing work. GA is going to be popped. Sonic Wave through Faze. And CC&C, despite forcing the low ground, taken out. Triple kill for Ryoya. Envy's dominating. And Flying Penguins, they'll use the E-Blade on that last hero. It being Jubei's Grimstroke. CC&C buys back, but simply to watch his Ancient die. Oh, precasted Hex coming out there on the Bat Rider. And Monkey's not even killed off, but his hopes are ended. As are the hopes of Faze in this one. Flying Penguins will move on as the GGs come out. And what a great showing.
The all-knowing one protects us all.
From Flying Penguins in this one. 34-27. It looks like a relatively even game. And certainly the graphs will tell a similar story. I mean, you can keep the game within 10,000 net worth advantage for most of the game. Really, till 41 minutes, the game was within 10,000 net worth. Of course, one side had a one-position bounty hunter, but it's not till the literal last few minutes of the game that any team takes a lead over 10k net worth. So, and experience for that matter. So a very even game overall. But unfortunately, we do kind of see the bounty hunter end up tailing off towards the end and continuing to skyrocket the Envy Lifestealer. Ryoya, again, not a great lane versus CC&C. CC&C really held his own in this entire series, but unfortunately his team wasn't able to pick him up. Monkey's had a fantastic start. His first two uses of even the first use of the Blink Dagger was scouted mid lane by a ward. Ryoya was able to survive, and despite not having a good lane, 8, 5, and 21, Ryoya ends up involved in 29 of the 34 kills. Envy also involved in 29 kills. And you really see this 5-man put it together. And Lelis serving as bait for most of the game. So well played to Liposa as well. Flying Penguins will move on, guys. They're going to face the loser of the Complexity team match. That was going on simultaneously up in the upper bracket. That is on twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. So check that out on BTS 1. And this will resume tomorrow, I believe, these qualifiers. But until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed the broadcast. And for now, this is MRP signing out. Night, guys.